Hey everyone, it's Jason from GameRave.com, and I'm looking at the wrong side of the camera. Let's try that again. Hey everyone, it's Jason from GameRave.com, otherwise known as Danger Boy. This is GameRaveTV. So today we're back with the letter game, and we are going to do the letter Z. One, because there's only 3 games, which makes it super easy. 2, all my stuff is actually packed up, and I already had game pages for these, so that'll work too. And 3, why not? Gotta cover them anyway. Now, what's nice is, because there's only 3 games, we can actually get rid of the third one, which is Zoop Leapin' Lemurs, because it's a kid's game, it's cute, but come on. Let's be honest. So that leaves us with the Zero Divide and Zoop. And this is going to be a good one. Oh. Alright, our first game to deal with between the two is Zoop. Zoop is a phenomenal puzzle game that was, for lack of a better term, not so much obscure when it first came out, but no one paid attention to it because it didn't have the words Tetris on it. Now, it doesn't play anything like Tetris. In fact, it doesn't play like any puzzle game you've probably ever played before. The closest you could approximate it to would be like the Bust a Move series, where you have to match colors, be it ball to ball, square to square, what have you. But with Zoop, what made it, and I mean this in the most like cocaine reference addiction way, is basically you were a little triangle, and you were a color. And on the grid, which will be shown in the picture here, you had to shoot out and match up the colors, meaning like if you were a blue arrow, you would shoot yourself out to the blue color. The catch is the arrow didn't stop. So if you collected the blue colors and the next one was green, your arrow became green and went right back to its starting point. And you basically had to match all the colors while paying attention to what the color was behind it while you're trying to beat the clock and so forth. And when you first start playing the game, you're like, okay, this is kind of cool, all right, cool. And by about the 5th or 6th stage, you realize just how in the groove you are mentally wise with the game. And then by level 20, they just start throwing color-changing backgrounds at you. There's moving backgrounds. It becomes a psychological way station for how soon you're going to throw the controller, or, you know, not understand that green is green, blue is blue. Just a really, really, really well done puzzle game. I actually regret not playing it more than I have. Obviously, everything's packed up, but because we're now on the WordPress site, once I get to start converting over the old pages to the WordPress versions, I will play the living snot out of this game. That's Zoop, and now we'll jump to robots. Now, our other Z game is, of course, Zero Divide. Zero Divide is a fanboy favorite of mine, and not because I'm a fan of the series per se, I'm a fan of the subject matter. There's a severe lack of robot fighting games on game systems nowadays. I mean, there is like Cyberbots from the Japanese side, which you can now get on PSN. There's Zero Divide. Technically, Cyber Base Wars on NES. But with Zero Divide, at the time this came out, it was really, really early in the PlayStation's life, and while Sega was trying to win over gamers with Virtua Fighter and PlayStation had Tekken, there were a lot of Virtua Fighter fans that clearly didn't want anything to do with the PlayStation. Enter Zero Divide. Zero Divide is essentially a Virtua Fighter control scheme and, to a degree, combat scheme, but with robots. And all these robots follow the same, you know, crazy, for lack of a better term, stereotype that the other fighters. There's the heroic guy, there's the cat girl robot, there's the army guy, there's the crazy Japanese looking dude, there's actually a walking, talking, frightening dragon-like looking thing, and more importantly, the game is really, really easily playable. It's not as fluid as a Virtua Fighter or Tekken. With their animations, they move like an old school robot. Like in a normal fighting game, they throw a punch and you're good to go. With Zero Divide, there's more of like a punch, and then like you can almost feel like the gear, that's like suspension rope, for lack of a better term, inside the robot, pulling it back and so forth. There's a very, very good sense of weight in the game. Like you can't really jump that well. Some of the lighter robots can jump higher, etc., just like the human fighting games. But the story behind Zero Divide was that you were basically just a bunch of programs fighting another program inside a giant computer tower, matrix with robots, if you will. And of the early launch day games that weren't, for lack of a better term, brand name, Zero Divide always stuck out just because of the creativity and the uniqueness of the characters and the really good gameplay, even if it was technically borrowing a lot from Virtua Fighter. So with the letter game, we basically have a phenomenal fighting game, an original fighting game, with a phenomenal puzzle game with the original design. What do we do? So it basically came down to a reason of exclusivity. When we designed the 27-letter game idea for YouTube, we wanted to make sure you were playing the PlayStation games you had to play on the PlayStation. With Zoop being available for damn near everything, including the Jaguar, between these two games it becomes clear that you should probably play Zero Divide. And Zero Divide is our official Z letter for the letter game. Now, for collectors, Zero Divide was only the first one to appear on the American PlayStation. Japan got not only a sequel on their PlayStation, but the Saturn got the third and final game called Zero Divide Final Conflict, which featured characters not in the other two. It's a really great series. I totally recommend checking it out. It's really easy to play import games on the Saturn, as long as you're not using the Mega RAM cartridge from the Capcom games. So that being said, check them out. I hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you next episode. Take care.